Hello everyone, my name is Natasha Kusuma from Information System 42 International class. Here I wanna explain about the OTP scam from a human resource schema. This is the schema of human resource. There are 6 classes in here. First is employee department history. Second is SIF. Third, job candidate. Fourth, employee pay history. Fifth, department, and then the last one is employee. In this slide, I will explain about data type of each attribute from each class. The first class is employee department history. In here, we have 4 primary key and 3 foreign key. For business entity ID, department ID, and also SIF ID, they are a primary key that also act as a foreign key. The data type of business entity ID, department ID, and SIF ID are numeric or integer. For start date is a primary key. The data type of start date is interval or date. For end date and modified date also interval or date. And then the next class is SIF. In SIF, we have 1 primary key and 2 unique. In primary key, we have SIF ID. The data type of SIF ID is a numerical or integer. And then for name is varchar or categorical. And then for start date, start time, end time, and modified date is interval or date. And then the next class we have employee pay history. In here we have 2 primary key and 1 foreign key. For business entity ID is a primary key that also acts as a foreign key. The data type of business entity ID is numerical or integer. And then for rate change date is a primary key. The data type of rate change date is interval or date. And then for rate is a varchar or categorical. For pay frequency is also varchar and or categorical. And then for modified date is date or interval. And then the next class is department. In class department, we have 1 primary key and 1 unique. In primary key, we have department ID. The data type of department ID is numerical or integer. And then the data type for name is varchar or categorical. Also, group name is a varchar or categorical. And then the data type for modified date is interval or date. And then the next class is job candidate. In job candidate, we have 2 primary key and 1 foreign key. Business entity ID is a primary key that also acts as a foreign key. The data type of business entity ID is numerical or integer. And then for job candidate is a primary key. The data type of job candidate is numerical or integer. For resume or modified date, the resume is an XML, and then for the modified date is interval or date. And then for the employee, in employee we have 1 primary key and 1 foreign key, and also we have 3 unique. In primary key and foreign key we have business entity ID. The data type of business entity ID is in numerical or integer. And then for national ID number, login ID, and SIF ID, the data type of three of them is numerical or integer. For job title is varchar or categorical. For birth date is interval or date. For marital status, gender is varchar or categorical. And then for hire date is interval or date. For salaried flex is varchar or categorical. For vacation hours, sick leave hours is interval or categorical is interval or date. And then for current flag and roju I for current flag is varchar or categorical. And then for roju ID is integer or numerical. And then the last one for modified date is is an interval or date. That's all the explanation for this slide. I hope you can learn from it. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.